The First Nations are the people who lived in North America before Europeans migrated there. There is a place in Canada where you can learn about the culture of the First Nations. It is where the First Nations people used to live. Now, a visitor's center is there. There is also an archaeology lab and walking trails. You can learn about the culture through the displays in the center. The displays show everyday activities. They show how the people lived. The gift shop in the visitors center sells crafts made by the First Nations people. There are jewelry, paintings, and pottery. You can also eat at the restaurant. Bison meat is in many dishes. There are also wild rice dishes, fruit pies, and traditional bread. All of the food is tasty. The archaeology lab is run by the local university. A big window lets you see the archaeologists working. They found a very old spearhead. They also found ancient human bones. The First Nations Visitors Center is a great place. You can learn about the First Nations culture. You can also see archaeologists at work. You can walk on the trails or enjoy a traditional meal. It is an experience to remember. Some animals in cold climates hibernate. This means that they spend the winter months in a very long and deep sleep. Many animals find shelter underground. They dig out shelters to sleep in. Animals that cannot dig find cracks or holes at the base of trees and bushes. If they like the place they find, they might use it for years and years. Animals that hibernate include cold-blooded animals, such as lizards, frogs, and snakes. Many warm-blooded animals also hibernate, such as mice, bats, and squirrels. When these animals are hibernating, they seem like they are not alive at all. Warm-blooded animals seem colder to the touch. However, their blood is still very warm. Hibernating animals have a very slow heartbeat. They almost stop breathing. Extra blood sugar and fat in their bodies keep them alive. They eat lots of food just before they hibernate. Winters that do not stay cold are dangerous for hibernating animals. They can sometimes wake up in their shelters when it gets a little warm. Then they use energy by moving around. During winter, there is very little food. These animals can get very thin and weak. If they move around too much and do not eat, they can die. Animals hibernate to escape the cold. There are also animals in hot climates that escape the heat. During very hot or dry weather, they sleep underground. This is called estivation. Autumn, or fall, is the season between summer and winter. The days become shorter and the air gets cooler. Trees sense these changes, so they start preparing for colder weather. Trees that have leaves block water and food from coming through the branches to the leaves. When this happens, the leaves die. They fall off the tree or the wind blows them away. This is why autumn is usually called fall in America. As the leaves start to die, they appear to change from green to red, yellow, orange, or brown. Actually, the leaves are really these colors all year long. They look green because of a chemical called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll works with the sun to help the trees make food. In autumn, when there is less sun, the tree cannot make chlorophyll, so the green color fades. This reveals other colors, like red and yellow, that were always in the leaves. Like trees, animals also sense changes in the cooler autumn climate. Animals that hibernate eat a lot during autumn. They gain weight to store energy in the form of fat. They use this energy to survive the winter while hibernating. Many birds survive the cold in a different way. They leave. Each year, many birds migrate south to warmer climates during autumn. They migrate north again in the spring. Not a bad idea if you ask me. After all, who would refuse a midwinter trip to sunny Thailand? Many scientists believe that the dinosaurs were killed by a large meteor. They think that this meteor was about 6 to 12 miles wide. It crashed into southern Mexico and made a hole about 130 miles wide. The crash threw dust and dirt into the sky. Dust clouds darkened the Earth's atmosphere. The crash caused fires, earthquakes, and tidal waves. The plants were killed. The oceans were poisoned. Very soon, there was no food left for the plant-eating dinosaurs. When they died, there was no food for the meat-eating dinosaurs. The meteor killed almost 70% of all plants and animals on Earth. The only animals that could survive were small ones that could eat many different kinds of food. Some scientists say the meteor alone did not cause dinosaurs to become extinct. They think that dinosaurs were already getting weaker. They are not sure why. One reason might be disease. Another might be climate change. A big part of the mystery is why some types of animals survived. If climate change killed dinosaurs, it should also have killed frogs. If the meteor killed most sea reptiles, it should have killed crocodiles. Yet frogs and crocodiles still exist in the world today. Computers have transformed the way people communicate. In some ways, this transformation is good, but in other ways, it could be harmful. Statistics show that millions of people use the internet every day. People shop online, play games, and search for information. Studies also show that people use the internet mainly for communication. The internet has made communication fast and convenient. Email can travel anywhere within seconds. Chat rooms include people from all over the world. People can even make internet telephone calls. However, this type of communication is very different from what people did in the past. People spend less time talking face to face. They might chat 4 days without being in the same room with a real person. They also might communicate with many people at the same time. Some researchers think this is unhealthy. One study on internet use found that people who used the internet a lot were lonely. Also, they did not communicate as much with members of their family. Many people have criticized this study. They say it did not include enough people and that loneliness is hard to measure. In my opinion, all types of communication are good. It is great to email someone and get a fast response. It is also nice to talk face to face. We can do both. The internet is a fantastic tool. We should use it wisely to benefit from it. Love, hate, death, These things are at the heart of Shakespeare's famous tragedy, Romeo and Juliet. The St. Stephen's High School Drama Club performed this play last weekend. Romeo and Juliet is the story of two families, the Capulets and the Montagues, who are bitter enemies. Tragedy follows when the son of one falls in love with the daughter of the other. The play is set in Verona, Italy, in the late 16th century. Alison Bourne played Juliet, Capulet's beautiful young daughter. She showed the mixed emotions Juliet felt after secretly marrying the son of her family's most hated enemy. At times, she was happy, and at times, she was afraid. David Taylor played Romeo, Montague's son. He put on a good performance despite having a head cold. His lines were said with great feeling in a clear voice. Eric Parker was the perfect Tybalt, dark and angry. Maggie Jones played the nurse. She acted the part of a gossipy old woman very well. She made everyone in the audience laugh at her jokes and her comic character. The whole cast showed enthusiasm in every scene. The actors knew the meaning of their lines. They used body language to show this meaning well. The stage lights were sometimes too bright or too dim. But the sword fights looked very real, and the costumes were wonderful. Overall, St. Stephen's production of Romeo and Juliet was a great night of high school theater.